Hello everybody, welcome back again to our nutritional videos for the Ultimate 8-Week Challenge Series 2. This week we're going to be talking about food timing, so very important issue, especially when you're after weight loss or weight gain. Okay, so we're going to go over some general principles that everybody can apply to their general eating, and then we're going to talk more about the goal-based stuff for weight loss and for weight gain, predominantly fat loss and muscle mass gain, yes? So food timing, that's the issue today. Let's get into it. So let's start with our general principles. The first one is don't go any more than 3 hours without eating. Okay, that's super important to keep your metabolism ticking over. I always just relate this to a fire. Okay, if a fire is already burning, your metabolism's already going, what you want to do is you just keep feeding it little logs, and then that fire can continue to burn. So that's the same as your metabolism. What you don't want to happen is that you don't eat for a long period of time, the fire dies down, then you throw a massive log onto it, because that's not going to burn well. Okay, so we want to keep the metabolism ticking over, no more than 3 hours without food. That's number one, right? General principle number one. Then we move on to other principles. So some other general principles are that you should always try to eat within 30 minutes after a workout. Okay, so that's super important. You've got to have a good quality protein source 30 minutes directly after a workout, and then that allows the body to lay down more lean muscle tissue and helps you to burn more fat. Okay, so that's another really good principle. Another general principle of food timing is that when you get up, you don't want to have 3-4 hours before you eat. Okay, so for those of you with weight loss, and we're going to go into that soon, it is okay to train on an empty stomach, but you certainly don't want to go 3 or 4 hours without putting some food into the body, all right? So that's principle number 3, and if you put all those 3 together, and your just for general health, you'll be sorted out, and now we're going to move on to fat loss and lean muscle tissue gains. Rightio, so let's talk about food timing for weight loss. More specifically, I should say, food timing for fat loss, all right? We want to lose fat, we want to increase lean muscle tissue, so it's not necessarily weight, but it is fat loss. So, food timing for fat loss. What you want to try to do is, for those of you who want to train in the morning, if you train in the morning, it is okay to get up and train, all right? There are a couple of drawbacks to that. So, if you train early in the morning and you haven't had any food in the system, you can feel a little bit nauseous, a little bit dizzy, and that's a totally normal reaction. If you do feel like that, what we want to do is we want to use fat as your primary fuel source. So we don't want to put too much food in. But if you do need a little bit, what you can have is just a very small piece of fruit, or even just a couple of sips of 100% fruit juice. That just gives the body some very simple sugars to keep your brain active so that you don't feel that sort of nauseous feeling. So that's food timing number 1. You can train on an empty stomach. If you don't have any of those side effects, by all means do it, because you're just going to utilize more fat as fuel. But if you start to feel a little bit nauseous, it is okay to have either a small piece of fruit or just a little bit of juice. Another great trick, if you're after fat loss, eat slowly, okay? Chew your food a lot. Don't try to rush through your meals, okay? Sit on them, talk to your friends. So take a lot of time with your food, because what that does is it allows your stomach, as it expands, to tell you that food has reached the stomach and you are now full. If you eat too fast, what happens is your stomach doesn't expand as quickly as you can shove the food in, so all of a sudden you've overeaten and then you get those pains in the stomach. Okay, we want to avoid that. All right, so chew a lot, chew your food a lot, and eat slowly. That's trick number 1. Another one is make sure that you minimize your carbohydrates after lunchtime. Okay, they're energy foods, and most of us are either very relaxed of an afternoon. We go home, we don't do a hell of a lot, we eat dinner, and then we go to bed. Okay, so if you're training of an afternoon, you might be able to get away with it, but as a general rule, try to minimize your carbohydrates after lunchtime, okay? So no big pasta dishes, no big rice dishes for dinner. We want to avoid that as much as possible. And the other one is within 2 hours. So try to not eat within 2 hours of your workout. So don't eat within 2 hours, and that means you're going to be utilizing your fat as a predominant fuel source rather than the food that you've just put into your body, okay? So make sure you go for 2 hours without eating, do your workout, make sure it's a good intense workout, burn lots of calories, then you can replenish the food. We don't want you to use the food as the fuel, okay? So there's some principles for fat loss. Okay, so if you're trying to increase your lean muscle tissue, if you're trying to put weight on, good weight, we don't want bad weight to go on, but you definitely want to increase your lean muscle tissue stores. Probably one of the most important things that you can do is to make sure that you're in a positive caloric state before you do any training, okay? So let me just break that down for you. What you need to have done is to make sure that there's more food in the body than what you've expended during the day before your workout, okay? That means that there's plenty of energy stored in the body So when you do your workout, not only can your workout be better, because there's plenty of energy to do it, so you can get a good quality workout with more intensity, but then there's nutrients there already in the body for you to start repairing and restoring that muscle tissue, okay? So make sure you're in a positive caloric state before you begin your workouts, and you will definitely get more lean muscle tissue increases. So an addendum to that is the 30 minutes afterwards. It's really, really important for those trying to put on lean muscle tissue that your 30-minute window immediately after your workout, it's got to be a good protein source going in, okay? Because your muscles have been broken down. They need that lean muscle tissue. They need that protein so that you can get stronger and fitter and more lean. So thank you for watching. So that's our video on food timing. So I hope you definitely got some good information out of there and you can apply it directly to what you're eating at the moment. Please post questions online. The more questions, the better. That way we can all have a look, and we might have forgotten something and you guys might remember. So make sure you post those questions so we can get as much information out there as possible. Next week, we're going to be talking about vitamins, minerals, supplements. All right, so that's probably that's a red hot issue. Red hot issue because everyone's into protein powders, protein bars, all of that sort of nonsense, okay? So we're going to talk about that next week. I'm not saying it's nonsense, but we'll talk about it next week. So make sure you tune in for that. And as I was saying before, make sure you turn up to FitClub, get as many sessions in as you can. Make sure you listen to all the videos, eat well, train hard, and you'll be fit and healthy. Cheers.